Lieutenant Colonel Mboto, you've already given evidence regarding Exhibit HH.
Is that Mboto? No.
I'm sorry, Colonel Rapadu.
Yeah, it's already being sworn in again.
Lieutenant Colonel Rapadu, you've already given evidence regarding Exhibit HH. I just want to refer you to paragraph 15.1, which was redacted. It appears on page 4 of Exhibit HH. If you can just put that on record, paragraph 15.1.
Are you still prepared to make a statement? I would like to know your source of information regarding the proposed statement you wish to make. And then the accused response was, I was involved in the crime scene.
Manje ke usuke waphana ngobufakazi manje kunalapho kazanye ungaphananga ngaloko bufakazi. Ngicela ungifundele lapho ku 15.1 ithi ke usazimisele ukuthi wenze istatement wena ngifuna ukwazi ukuthi lolo lwazi ulithathaphi ukuthi ngizoqhubeka ngalesi statement bese impendulo ize ithi mina ngangiyingcenye yalokwenzeka kwaleso sigameko.
Thank you. If you can then turn to page 5 of Exhibit HH. Paragraph 17, you've already put the contents of paragraph 17.1, 17.2. If you can just perhaps read once again 17 just to give context for the record, paragraph 17, then proceed to 17.3.
Since it appears that the deponent is in his sound, sober senses, he had not been unduly influenced thereto, understand his rights as prescribed by Section 35 of the final Constitution, and freely and voluntarily wishes to make a statement, he is informed that he or she may now proceed.
Njengoba ke umsolwa yena eseka azisi ebonakala ukuthi wayekade ekumqabango olungile yena ke manje akazange aphoqwe futhi uyazwisisa amalungelo wakhe ukuya ngomthetho sisekelo owalapha eMzansi Afrika yena uzimisele ngokwakhe ukuthi angayenza istatement leso futhi uyacebiswa ngokuthi kuzoyenzakalani uma eqhubeka.
Yes, you can then proceed to the annexure itself. And maybe just before you put the contents of the annexure, can you just maybe give a background? How did you go about taking down what is stated in the annexure?
My Lord, I made sure that the accused person understands. The first thing that I've explained him it was his right, just as a matter of remembrance.
Ngaphambi kokuthi uthathe lesi statement wenzeni uthi ngiyenze isiqiniseko sokuthi umsolwa uyazwisisa amalungelo wakhe ukumkhumbuza nje.
I made sure that he's of sober mind.
Ngingayenza nesiqiniseko sokuthi yena wayekade umqondo wakhe wawukade ulungile.
And the statement was made voluntarily
nokuthi lesi statement yena usenze engaphoqwanga
without any undue circumstances.
engazange ethenjiswe mhlawumbe into ethize noma angazange atshelwe into ethize.
Yes, we'll proceed.
It's then that I started sitting down with him, going into the statement itself.
Kulaye ukuthi ke uKennel uye wahlala phansi naye waqhubeka ngaleso statement kusona engena odabeni.
Yes.
Can I read the contents thereof?
Yes.
Which I took. He first explained me the statement, and then later on, I went on to say, now I'm writing, paragraph by paragraph.
Umsolwa
I
ke
mean, sentence by sentence.
umsolwa ke uqale watshela uKennel istatement ngemva kwalokho uKennel wamtshela ke ukuthi sengizobhala yonke into ewungitshela yona njengoba ungitshela yona ngizoyibhala ngaleyo ndlela.
Then we started. I, Bongani Sandis Runtanzi, 30 years of age, 3125 Freedom Park, 2, Rustenburg, states the following in Zulu and translated into English. That
Yeah, just a minute now. Those details that you mentioned there, the name, the age, the address, where does that come from? Where did
No,
you,
no, no, no.
as a court pleases?
No. The procedure is this witness must read
Yes.
what he wrote down. It doesn't
Yes.
have to be cross-examined, asked.
It was just a clarification, man.
No,
But that is fine.
That's not what the law says.
We leave it at that, yes. Yes, just read it as it is.
during mid-October 2014, I received a call from a friend, Mtoko Sizeni, who was with Mapisa. He informed me about an urgent work that needs to be done and they need my assistance.
Just a minute.
Mr. Ramsey had said the witness should read the whole statement, then I will interpret after.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
He informed me, okay, I think I'm done with that.
Yes.
Carlos was nearby as I could hear his voice in the background. I promised to assist and I decided to leave for Johannesburg. I then left for Foslora's men's hostel. I then met with Muzi Sibia, Sifiso Zungu, also known as Nkani, who initially gave the inside information. Later, Carlos Butelezi and Mapisa joined the gathering at the hostel. I was briefed that the person to be eliminated or killed was Senzo Meyiwa, and the matter is initiated by Kelly Khumalo, who was going to make a payment for the whole job. We were positioned accordingly that Nkani will be the driver, Moses Sevilla will be the guard, and myself and Carlos will get inside Kelly's house. Mapisa will be outside as a backup, and surveillance was conducted. Sunday at about between 1900 and 2000 hours, we then proceeded to the address. I went in with Carlos and others took their positions as discussed during the planning. When we entered the house, Carlos shouted in Zulu, phansi imali ne my cell phone. I started collecting cell phones and cash that was in the container. While I was still busy, Senzo jumped to Caro's and the struggle ensued, where one shot went off and the second shot hit Senzo as the firearm was pointed at his chest. I ran out with the money and the cell phone, leaving Caro's behind. While Mapisa ran into the house, I then proceeded directly to the silver Polo was parked. I waited in the car with Nkani. Within a short period of time, I was joined by Caro's, Musi Sibia, and Mapisa. We then left for Foslora's hostel. Caro's took the cash and the cell phone from me at the hostel. At the hostel, I received an amount of 15,000 cash. I then left with Nkani to Johannesburg, where I slept over. The following day, Nkani took me to Davidton, where I stayed from some days. Nkani later returned and took out an amount of 30,000 and gave me. He further directed me to the taxis to my residence. As there was a dissatisfaction about the money, it led to a meeting to be held in the homelands at Ematlatini. It escalated to such an extent that Musi Sibia had leaked information about the incident, murder of Senzo Meyiwa. Njabulo and Lulama had an argument with Musi Sibia, whereby a meeting was convened by the family headed by Musi's father. He told them to keep quiet about the incident of the killing of Senzo Meyiwa. The family agreed about the conspiracy to keep quiet about the incident. The matter was never reported to the police. I then left for Carltonville, later to Rustenburg.
Nasike istatement esifundwa uKennel. Lesi statement sika Bongani Sandiso Ntanzi bekade eneminyaka engamashumi amathathu ehlala e3125 Freedom Park 2 Rustenburg. Yena uye washo lezinto ezilandelayo ngesizulu ezabhalwa zatolikelwa kwesilungu. Phakathi kwenyanga kaOctober ku2014 ngiye ngathola ucingo kumngani wami uMthokoziseni obekade enoMaphisa. Wangicebisa ukuthi kunomsebenzi osheshayo odinga ukuthi wenziwe, kudingeka uncedo lwami. uCarlos bekakhona eduze njengoba bengade ngikwazi ukuzwa iphimbo lakhe emuva ekhuluma. Ngiye ngathembisa ukuthi ukunceda, ngathatha isinqumo sokuthi ngisuke ngiye eJohannesburg. Ngafika eFosloras ehostel yamadoda. Kula ngiye ngahlangana noMuzi Sibia, Sifiso Zungu, owaziwa futhi ngegama likaNkani. Ebaye siyasahlangana esangweni banginika ulwazi. uCarlos Buthelezi noMaphisa baye bafika baba nathi ehostel. Ngiye ngatshelwa ukuthi umuntu obekade kwamele asuswe kwakade kuSenzo Meyiwa. Leyo ndaba indaba ukuthi ize ngokheli Khumalo obekade eyokhokhela eyokhokhela ngalo msebenzi wonke. Siye sahlala ngendlela eyikuthi siye sahlela ngendlela eyikuthi unkani wayekade ezoba umshayeli, umuzi Sibiya uzoba unogada, mina no Carlos sizongena endlini yakaKelly, uMaphisa uzoba ngaphandle njengomuntu ozabe esisiza noma ezabe esebenza umsebenzi phecelezi we-backup. Futhi kuzoba nomuntu ozabe ebheki leya ndawo leyana. Ngesonto ngabo 7 ntambama noma ngabo phakathi ko 7 no 8 ntambama ithema saya kulelo Kelly ebesikade sinikwe lona, mina no Carlos nabanye siye sahlala kuyindawo lezi bekade sihlele ukuthi sizoba kuzo njengoba sasikade sikhulumile. Siye sangena endlini, uCarlos washo ngesizulu wathi phansi imali nama cellphone. Mina ngiye ngaqoqa ama cellphone nemali ebezikade ziphakathi kwe-container. Ithema kusaqhutshekwa kanjalo, uSenzo wathumela uCarlos balwa la ikuthi kuye kwaba nokudubula. Inhlamvu yesibini yadubula uSenzo njengoba isibhamu sasikade sikhonjwe kuye. Njengoba isibhamu sasikade sikhombe kuye esifubeni. Ngiye ngagijimela ngaphandle nemali nama cellphone, ngashiya uCarlos emuva. uMaphisa wagijimela endlini, mina ke ngiye ngagijimela kwimoto iPolo esilver labe ibekade ipakwe khona. Ngalinda emotweni nonkani la ikuthi ngemva kwesikhashanyana siye uMaphisa, uCarlos nomuzi noMaphisa bayebeza bazoba nathi. Sahamba ke saya eFosloras ehostel. uCarlos wathatha imali nama cellphone kimi. Ehostel ngiye ngathola imali elingana no 15,000 rand. Bese ngahamba nonkani siya eJohannesburg la ngiye ngalala khona. Kwilanga elilandelelayo unkani uye wangithatha wangisa eDaveyton la ngiye ngahlala khona amalangana. Unkani ngemva kwalokho wangithatha wanginika, unkani wabuya wanginika imali elingana no 30,000. Bese ke wangithatha wangisa emateksini walabe ngade ngihlala khona. Njengoba bekade ngingenelisekanga ngemali, kuye kwayenzeka ukuthi kugcine kube nomhlangano emakhaya emahlathini. Kuye kwenzeka ukuthi umuzi Sibiya uye wakhipha ulwazi ngaloku bulawa kuka Senzo Meyiwa. Unjabulo noLulama, is it Lulama or Lule? Unjabulo noLulama baye baba nengxabano nomuzi Sibiya la ikuthi kwakade kunomhlangano womndeni wakhe obokade uhanjiswa ubaba kamuzi Sibiya. Yena ke kula uye wabatshela ukuthi bathule ngalokubulawa kuka Senzo Meyiwa. Umndeni wavuma ukuthi bazogcina leyo mfihlo. Lelicala alizange lazisiwe emaphoyiseni. Mina ke ngiye ngahamba ngaya eCarltonville, ngemva kwalokho ngaya eRustenburg. As the court pleases, thank you, my lord. I have just interpreted the statement. Nizwile madoda lento bengibele ngiyifu. The accused shakes, nods their heads to show that they have understood.
Okay.
No, Lieutenant Colonel, there are some signatures at the bottom and thumbprint. Can you just explain that?
Yes, the signatures belongs to me and the accused person. The thumbprint belongs to the accused person too.
Kuna la kusayinwe khona la phansi ngemva kwale statement ake uchaze ukuthi ubani osayinile futhi nesithupha esikabani uthi signature enye yeyami enye eyakamsolwa futhi isithupha esabekwa lapho kwakade kwesakamsolwa.
Yes, and on the previous page, page 6, there appears signatures as well, and a thumbprint. Can you just explain them?
The signatures belongs to me and the accused person's thumbprint.
Nakwile page le eyokuqala la kufundwe khona istatement page 6 kuna la kusayinwe khona nesithupha ezakabani uthi yimina ongisayinile nomsola wasayina wabeka nesithupha sakhe.
Can you just explain which one is your signature and which one is that of the deponent?
My one is on the far right at the end of the page, and his is the one on the left next to the thumbprint.
Manje ke kuthiwa achaze ukuthi yena usayine phi ubonisa ukuthi yena usayine la ngakwesandla sokudla umsolwa yena usayine ngakusandla sosinxele eduze kwesithupha sakhe.
If we can then turn to page 5, paragraph 18.1. You've already put that on record, but just for the sake of clarity of the record, can you just once again put that on record?
Note down whether he also reads through the statement. The comment was yes.
Lapho ke kuye kwabhalwa lapha ku page 5 ukuthi bala phansi ukuthi uye wafunda istatement na kuthiwa yebo impendulo yakhona kube uyebo.
Yes, the statement was read back to him.
Yaphinda
And because he got an elementary education that he can read and understand the English, later I gave him the statement to him and he read through and he started, I said to him, he must sign if he agrees with the contents thereof.
manje ke uyaphinda ukhenela uthi istatement lesi njengoba ukuthi sibhalwe ngesingesi ngoba uNtanzi unalo ulwazi oluthize lesingesi uye wamnika istatement wathi nasi istatement ungasifunda nawe uma uqeda mase seweneselekile yonke into ebhalwe la kule statement ungasayina kula uNtanzi eyenza njalo wafunda makaqeda wasayina.
Yes. Just read paragraph 18.2, just put that on record. And the rest of the paragraphs.
Has the statement been read back to the deponent by you and the interpreter? Yes. I was standing in as his interpreter.
Istatement siye safundelwa umsolwa we netolikina uthi impendulo kube uyebo uyasho ukhenela ukuthi yena uye wathatha futhi nesigaba sokuthi kube utoliki.
Yes, paragraph 19.
The following questions are now put to the deponent. Are you satisfied that which you stated has been noted down correctly? The response was yes, and then
Ngiyabuzwa ke ukuthi wena waneselekile na ukuthi istatement sibhalwe kahle impendulo ithe yebo.
do you have any complaints as to the manner in which I took down this statement? No.
Unesikhalazo ngalendlela emina ngithathe le statement ngaso uthi impendulo ithe cha.
Are you satisfied with the interpreter? Yes.
Weneselekile futhi nangotoliki uthi impendulo ithe yebo.
Place was Moroka, 2020-06-19, 11:47.
Lesi statement senziwe eMoroka ngonyaka ka-2020 inyanga yaka June ngey 19 isikhathi kwakade ku-11:47.
He put his signature there and his thumbprint, and then I put my signature on the other side.
Bese ke umsolwa uya sayina laphayana wabeka nesithupha bese uKennel naye wasayina.
The thumbprint underneath is his.
Nangaphansi kunala ayebeke isithupha futhi yesakhe.
God, please, my Lord, will request that the annexure be handed up as an exhibit, as part of exhibit HH. We can mark it exhibit HH in brackets 1.
1. Yeah, but the kernel is not yet through reading.
Yes, we'll get to the other aspects, my Lord. If we can just turn to page 6. And if you can just maybe put that on record as well.
Observation of the justice of the peace with regard to the deponent. Clothing. Clean blue jeans and Impala Platinum lumber. Appearance. Calm and responsive. Attitude. Good and at ease.
Manje ke
Spontaneous? No, there was no response. I didn't write anything there.
manje ke kuyabhekwa ukuthi ngemva kokuthi noma uKenneth uma ebheka ukuthi wawukade unjani untanzi wayekade enjani impahla zakhe zazikade zingangcolanga wayekade egqoke ijean eblue nelamba ye Impala Platinum wayekade ebonakala kuumuntu ongathukanga futhi ebekade ephendula imibuzo makukhulunywa naye futhi kwakade kuumuntu oziphathe kahle engathukanga.
And have you explained these signatures?
The signature of the Justice of the Peace is my signature and my full names. Here underneath the signature and the thumbprint on the far left is his, and on the right is my signature.
Uye wasayina yena njengomuntu ozimele ongaphenyi kuleli cala phecelezi uJustice of the Peace wabhala futhi negama lakhe namagama wakhe nesibongo yabonakala futhi nokuthi untanzi usayinile wafaka nesithupha sakhe bese futhi uyasayina futhi uKenneth.
Thank you. You've already put your evidence on record regarding the preamble, Exhibit HH. We're not going to repeat that. Do you confirm the correctness of the Exhibit HH1?
Correct, my lord.
Manje okuningi bese sokwenzile ngeke sisathu kuphinde wena uyavuma ukuthi lesi statement lesi siyiqiniso uthi yebo uyavuma.
We've already put on record the proficiency in the languages that were used. My lord, we beg leave to, as indicated, to hand it the annexure as Exhibit 8 HH in brackets 1.
You say it's HH.
Yeah, HH in brackets 1.
Oh, I think
The
HH
annexure.
in brackets 1.
Yes, the annexure, the statement itself.
Yeah, okay, I hear you.
And with the permission of the court, if I can just ask two questions outside the statement itself. On page 6, your observation that the clothing is clean. It was put to the witnesses that the accused had not had a bath from the 16th of June 2020. What is your comment?
No, I will disagree with that.
Wena
On the day in question, the accused was brought to me. He was so clean that he was shining. So I didn't want to just write an exceptionally, but he looked like somebody who's working from somewhere. He was clean, my lord.
Colonel ubale ukuthi uma umbheka umsolwa ubone ukuthi wayekade elungile neimpahla zakhe zasikade singangcolanga kodwa abofakazi batshelwe ukuthi impahla zikamsolwa zasikade singcolile uthi cha impahla zakhe zasikade singangcolanga zasikade zibonisa njengomuntu osebenza endaweni ethize.
And it was also disputed that that accused number 2 was given food. What is your comment?
Yes, I agree with that. He was given food during the process. It was early in the beginning, about maybe 8 o'clock in that morning. It was a meal for the prisoners. So they knocked and then I went and fetched food for him and then I gave him. I let him go through the food and then when he was finished, it's then that we process, we continue with the statement.
Uyekwashiwo futhi nokuthi umsolwa akazange anikwe ukudla. UKenneth uthi lokho angivumelani nakho mina into engiyaziyo ukuthi umsolwa uye wanikwa ukudla obekade kulethelwe iziboshwa ekseni kuye kwakokodwa laphayana nganikwa lokuyakudla ngamnika ngamyeka akhululeke adle aqede ngemva kwalokho kulaye ukuthi siye saqhubeka ngestatement.
And what did the meal consist of?
It was a buttered bread, buttered brown bread, and a tea.
Ukudla lokuyana kwakade kuyini uthi kwakade kuyisinkwa esi brown ebesikade sigcobiswe ibutter netiye.
What was the quantity of the bread?
It was 4 slices.
Sinkwa lesiyana sasikade singakanani uthi kwakade kungamaslayi amane.
Thank you, my lord. That is all.
Yes, Mr. Balo, is that the end of the evidence by...
Indeed, my lord.
Mr. Mnisi, you said there were things you wanted to take up. Which things are those? Hello?
I'm saying yes.
Yeah, what things are those?
I said there's no procedure in bars 1 when he wants to cross-examine. his
Okay,
witness.
cross-examine. Okay, cross-examine. Fine. Mr. Mgomezulu, do you want to cross-examine?
My lord, this is the witness for accused number 2.
Oh yeah, by the
I
way,
think Mr. Ramsey.
you are
Pillings.
on this.
Yes.
Mr. Rapis, any
Yeah,
cross-examination?
what I wanted to say, my lord, then it should actually start with Mr. Ramusipi.
Okay. Let's hear Mr. Ramusepi.
As it persists, the court, my lord. My lord, I would have thought by now, my lord knows my surname very well. It's an easy to pronounce surname.
Yeah, it's more difficult than Mokotling.
As the court persists, my lord, I do have some questions for Colonel Rapadu. And I want to begin at the tail end. And also, I noticed, my lord, we are closer to tea time, but I'll leave exactly at tea time. Colonel, you've just testified now that accused number 2, at the time he was brought to you, was fed, was given food. Is that your testimony?
Correct.
uphande ngokufakaza ukuthi umsolo wesibini makeza kuwe uye wanikwa ukudla iqiniso lelo uthi yebo iqiniso.
Now, with my little understanding of police procedures, in order for the accused person to be fed, he must first be entered in the occurrence books of that police station. Is that not correct? So that they know that he's there.
It was known that he's with me. That is why the food was, and all the relevant entries supposed to have been made.
Colonel, very well said indeed, because I was coming to that. We were finished with a variety of occurrence books where accused 2 was held throughout his detention at various police stations. But we don't have the Morocco OB entry where it shows that accused number 2 was brought to you on the 19th of June 2020 at a specific time, and where he's entered into that book to show that you received him, you obtained a statement from him, and at a certain time then you handed him back to Jonathan, who brought him back to you.
That I do not know. I cannot tell whether the entries were made or not made.
I'm telling you as a fact. We've never received that. I'm not denying that it was made or not made, but as I'm standing here today, I've never had sight of that occurrence book.
I suggest relevant people have came to this court who's supposed to give you that evidence. I cannot, my lord.
Ulwazi lami onginalo ngalendlela esetshenzwa ngayo esiphoyiseni ukuthi umuntu uma ezonikwa ukudla kwamele yena kube ukuthi ufakiwe kwincwadi zesiphoyisa lezi ezibizwa phecelezi ama-occurrence book la ukuthi umsolwa wesibini akazange abhalwe kwincwadi lezo uthi uKennel wayekade kwazeka ukuthi unami umsolwa yingakho eyewalethelwa ukudla ummeli uyaqhubeka uthi cha asinabo ubufakazi obuzile obubonisayo ukuthi umsolwa wayekade ebhaliwe kulezo incwadi uthi uKennel ngiyathemba ukuthi abantu abathize noma mhlawumbe abekade bebhalile lapho bona baphane ngobufakazi lapha enkantolo.
Now, towards the tail end as well, you were speaking or testifying about whether or not the statement was read back to accused number 2, and you said that it was read back to him. Is that your testimony?
Correct.
Uma usoya ngasekugcineni uye wathi istatement lesi siye safundelwa umsolwa wesibini iqiniso lelo uthi yebo iqiniso.
And then you mentioned something like he's got an elementary education, if I caught you well. Can you explain that for me?
Elementary education is the education where you can read and write. It's not the education where you become somebody certificated in line of maybe matric. He might not have the matric certificate, but he can read and write.
Imfundo le ngikhuluma ngayo uma ngithi umsolo wayekade enayo ile mfundo yokuthi umuntu uyakwazi ukufunda nokubhala nangokho engazange abe nayo matriculatini kodwa umuntu loyo ubonakala njengomuntu okwaziyo ukufunda nokubhala.
Did you ask accused number 2 up to which standard or grade of schooling did he go?
Yes, I did ask.
Uye wambuza umsolwa wesibini ukuthi ugcine phi esikolweni uthi yebo ngimuzile.
And what did he answer? What was his answer?
It was, I can't remember, it was a grade below the matric.
Uthi yena uye waphendula wathini uthi angisakhumbuli kodwa ungitshele ngaphansi ufunde ukuyofika ngaphansi komatikuletsheni.
And you also stated that you gave the statement to accused number 2 and he personally as well read it himself. Did I understand you correctly to say that?
It was after I interpreted it to him, and then I gave him to make sure that because I've spoken to the guy, that he got that education, but he can read and write. I gave him further the statement.
Uye wathi umsolwa uye wanikwa futhi leso statement ukuze asifunde naye uthi yebo bekungemva kokuthi mina ngangikade sengimtoliyele izinto engizibhalile bese ngambona ukuthi yena uyakwazi ukufunda nokubhala ulanje ngamnika leso statement ukuze asifunde ngokwakhe.
Now, accused number 2 has testified in this court that he is not the author or the source of the information contained in this statement, the annexure. And he testified further that if he wanted to write a confessional statement, he was going to write it in his own writing in isiZulu, because he understands isiZulu very well and he can write in isiZulu.
I will disagree with that. He's definitely the author of this.
Umsolwa yena ushilo ukuthi akusiyena umuntu obhale lesi statement futhi kube bekafuna ukwenza istatement asibhale wayekade ezosibhala ngesizulu ngoba uyakwazi ukubhala isizulu. UKennel uyaphendula uthi mina angivumelani nalokho uyena umsolwa umuntu obhale lesi statement.
My lot is 11:18. Is it an opportune time to
Okay,
take the short agenda?
15 minutes.
Please, my lord, I'm told that the key will not unlock the cell, and they're struggling to open the cell door.
What?
The key to the cell won't open the cell door for some reason. I think might be needing some Q20 or some oil, but they're still trying to open the cell door.
My lord, we've got the difficulty. The cell that we put the prisoners in, we can't get the cell open, so it seems almost like a lock. We're trying our best to open it.
There's no other exit or entrance. Not in here.
There's a cell 2 and that key. So we are stuck with it now. I'm going to try to open it with a hangover. So we'll try the other mesh.
So we put some dark over.
Let me ask for 10 minutes, General.
Okay.
Thank you, my lord.
Are we ready? Yes, Mr. Ramsey.
If it may please the court, my lord, I'm indebted. Now, Colonel, we were at that part where you now interpret the statement to accused number 2. You've read it back to him, you give it to him, he reads it, then he signs it. Is that your testimony?
That's correct.
Yebo ubufakazi bami ukuthi ngiye ngamtolikela umsolwa istatement futhi ngamfundela sona ngamnika sona naye wasifunda mayiqeda wasayina.
Now, just the one this other aspect, not the last one, this one aspect where you say your observation of the accused person, accused number 2 that was brought before you, he was clean, he was shining, he looked like he was working somewhere. Accused number 2 has testified in this court that since the arrest on 16 June 2020, he had never taken bath because his family didn't know where he was. He was only brought toiletries and given money to buy further toiletries by a Mr. Jack Buthelezi on the 13th of July 2020.
I will disagree with that. He was so jubilant and happy. I do not know what was happening with him.
I'm talking about clothing, I'm not talking about demeanor.
It's fine. The clothing was good.
Uyaphika futhi ukuthi wawukade impahla zakho zingekho kahle yena uthi wawungangconanga ngalelo langa futhi na wawukade ujabulile.
Now, your testimony is that as you are with accused number 2 in the room allocated for you to obtain the statement, you hear a knock and somebody brings food. At what stage during that statement taking, did you hear that knock? Had you already started with the pro forma, the main statement, or was this still during whatever you were doing with accused number 2?
It was still in the beginning.
Uthi ke uzwe sekukokodwa laphayana kunethwa ukudla kwakade kunini besisoqalile besisophakathi mhlawumbe akusichazisela ukuthi bekunini uthi bekusaqalwa.
And then you then take a break for accused number 2 to have his meal. That's your evidence. How long a break did you take?
It was almost like 30 to 40 minutes.
Ye wathatha ke ukhefu ukuthi umsolo wesibini adle uthathe ikhefu elingakanani uthi bekungemizuzu mhlawumbe engaye kwe-30 noma kwemizuzu eyi-40.
Now, this aspect of a break for accused number 2 to be fed of 30, 40 minutes, the knock at the door for accused number 2 to be brought food. Why did you not mention it in your initial testimony in this court?
I didn't see the relevancy of it.
Kungani ungazange ukhulume ngale ndaba yokuthi kuye kwakokodwa kulethwa ukudla komsolwa futhi nathatha nekhefu ukuthi umsolwa adle uthi abengaboni ukubaluleka kwakho ngaleso sikhathi ngikhona ngokufakazi?
And did you record anywhere that at some stage during your interaction with accused number 2, you were interrupted by somebody bringing a meal, you were interrupted by accused number 2 having a meal?
No, if you can see the time I took to take the statement, you are able to see that there was something that might have happened in between.
I was not present there, Colonel. That will be my questions, my lord. As the court
Manje ke
proceeds.
kukhona la ubhale khona ukuthi
Yes, Mr.
umsolwa
Mlisi.
nathatha isikhathi njengoba wayekade
Mr. Khumalo.
elibele edla uthi cha akukho la ngibhale khona kodwa uma ubheka isikhathi ukuthi sibe naye umsolwa uzobona ukuthi ikhona into eyayekade yenzeka lapho.
Thank you, my lord. I have no questions. Thank you.
Mshololo?
No questions, my lord.
Any re-examination?
Nothing.
Yeah, me just for my edification, because there is, after the statements of confession is ruled to be admissible, the state still has to prove that this statement was actually indeed made by the person who is supposed to have made it. Are you with me, Captain?
Correct, my lord.
Captain,
Yes.
yeah.
Ngemva kokuthi kuthiwe lokuyagonyuluka kwakade kwenziwe umuntu kuyena obekade efisa ukugonyuluka kwamele abashushisi babonise ukuthi ngempela umsolwa okukhulunywa ngaye lo okubhalwe igama lakhe ukuthi uyena obekade egonyuluka lapho.
Yeah, just a few questions in observing that precept. Do you know anybody called Mtoko Zeseni?
I do not know him.
Mapisa,
I do not know him, my lord.
Sfiso Zungu,
I do not know him.
Carlos Butelezi,
I do not know him.
okay.
Umthokoziseni uyamazi ukuthi cha. Umaphisa uyamazi ukuthi cha. uZungu uyamazi uthi cha, uthi uCarlos uyamazi uthi cha angimazi.
Nkani, a person called Nkani, do you know him?
No, my lord.
Unkani yena uyamazi uthi cha angimazi.
Njabulo,
No, my lord.
Unjabulo uyamazi uthi cha angimazi.
Lulama,
No, my lord.
Ululama yena uyamazi uthi cha angimazi inkosi enkantolo.
right. Before you took this statement from Mr. Mdntv, did you know him?
I didn't know him, my lord.
Ngaphambi kokuthi uwenze uthathe lesi statement kusuka kumnumzana uNtantsi wawukade umazi na uthi cha bengingamazi.
And then, did you know where he worked?
No.
Bowazi ukuthi usebenza phi uthi cha.
And where he stayed at 3125 Freedom Park, Phase 2, Rustenburg.
No, it's the information that I got from him. I do not know.
Nale ndawo la bekade ehlala khona e3125 Phase 2 eRustenburg ubokade ukwazi ukuthi cha bengingayazi ngizwe ngaye.
And his identification number? ID number.
He's the one that who gave me his ID number, my lord.
Inombolo yakhe yozaziso iID number uyazi kanjani uthi nginikwe uyena.
Okay, thank you. Any questions arising?
No questions. Sorry.
Any questions?
So, my lord, it's only one question arising from the court's question. Colonel, during the taking of the statement from accused number 2, were there any, before you wrote what you say accused number 2 told you, was there any stage where you asked for clarity before you write a statement? If something was not clear from what you were saying, did you at some stage ask for clarity?
No, because at the first line when he explained me, I didn't write. I wrote when I started to say, now I'm writing down everything that you're going to say.
Thank you.
Kukhona la ukuthi mhlawumbe uye wacela ukuthi akuqatshisele khona umsolwa uma ulibele ubhala uthi cha ngoba uma ekhuluma okokuqala angizange ngibhale. Ngingamlalela ngemva kwalokho ngamtshela ke ukuthi sengiyabhala ke manje kula ngiyengaqala ukubhala.
Okay, thank you. Colonel?
Thank you, my lord.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
The court pleases, my lord, the state will request that the next witness, Colonel M.M. Mboto, be recalled. The witness is going to testify in respect of exhibit FF. Giving my colleagues copies of exhibit FF, which I also give to the court. We're sitting with the original of exhibit H of the previous witness. I think we'll just make a bundle of all the originals for the court.
Yeah, please, sir. Yeah, swear the witness in.
Language of Khumalo, language. Your full names and surname.
Hlanganyelwa Moses Mboto.
Do you have any objection in taking the prescribed oath?
No, my lord.
If you so, do you then swear that the evidence that you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing else but the truth? If you do swear, please raise your right hand and say, so help me God.
Help me God.
Witness, son in my lord.
Colonel Mboto, you've already testified in the trial within a trial
Yes, my lord.
regarding Exhibit FF. Now, the court has ruled that the evidence regarding FF is admissible. If I can then ask you to go to paragraph 13 of Exhibit FF.
So uphane ngobufakazi kule nkantolo futhi inkantolo yona ithe lokho bufakazi buyavumeleka. Ngizocela ukuthi uye ku paragraph 13.
Just to give some background, you've already testified, but just put that on record, just to contextualize your evidence.
As the court pleases, paragraph 13, since it appears that the deponent is in his sound, sober senses, has not been unduly influenced to understand his rights as prescribed by Section 35 of the Constitution, freely and voluntarily wishes to make a statement, he is informed that he may now proceed.
Manje-ke la ku paragraph 13 ithi njengoba kubonakala ukuthi umuntu lo ozoyenza lesi statement yena ukhululekile, manje-ke yena usekayacebiswa ngamalungelo wakhe okuya ngomthethosisekelo, uyacebiswa ngamalungelo wakhe okuya ngomthethosisekelo futhi yena ukhululekile no ukuthi angayenza lesi statement yena manje sekangaqhubeka.
Yes. You can then go straight to the annexure, put the contents on record.
As the court pleases, on 2014, between September and October, it was Sabata, in bracket, which is Saturday. My friend Marco Buthelezi and Makimba Buthelezi entered the house and demanded cell phone, and they shot the now deceased. On that week, in that year, during the week, it was on Wednesday, I was at my place at hostel in Fostoras at Basutu section, and I received the call from my friends Marco Buthelezi and Makimba Buthelezi. Both were staying at Fostoras hostel, but Zulu section. The person who was calling me was Marco, but I heard on the background that he was with Makimba. I told them that I am present, and he said he is coming with Makimba. Paragraph 2. Few minutes, they arrived by Polo, white in color, and it was driven by Makimba. But the owner of the Polo is Marco. Both, they are from Kwanongoma in KZN. I just entered the car and sit at the back seat. Marco said to me, there is a job we need to do. I asked them what job, and Marco said they were hired by Kelly to kill Senzo. And I asked the suspect, which Kelly and which Senzo? The suspect said Kelly Khumalo and Senzo Meyiwa. They are the people we're talking about. paragraph 3, I asked them if they already charge the money, and they said yes. They charge 100,000, both Marco and Makimba charge for the killing. Marco was the one who was having dreadlocks, and Makimba was wearing the cap, red in color, and I was wearing the white cap. Those caps were wearing on Saturday, and the one with dreadlocks was wearing the wool hat. The accused remind me that in order not to mix the days, in brackets. Sometimes we drove, same time, we drove to the traditional healer, Mkulu, as we used to call him, and he is from Swaziland. This is the traditional healer we use to go to before we committing crime. He is from Swaziland. Paragraph 5. The Inyanga stays at Katle home at Palm Ridge, and we entered there, 3 of us. Marco is the one who explained to the traditional healer, Mkulu, in brackets, that we want to check if we are going to succeed in doing this job. He further mentioned to Mkulu that we are going to kill Senzo Meyiwa, and we were bought or hired by Khumalo, who was the girlfriend to Senzo Meyiwa. Marco told us that Kelly won money from Senzo, but he never told Mkulu that. Mkulu, traditional healer, checked for us and said we are going to succeed to kill the said person. And he also gave us protection medicine and belts to put on the arms or at our waist, which was going to make us to succeed in killing him and to protect us from any danger. We paid Mkulu 50 rand for checking our job. When we finished the job, we decided that we must pay him 5,000. We must pay him Mkulu 5,000, and we left to the hostel, and they left me there to their places of residence. I sat at my place, and we never spoke till Saturday, in bracket Sabata. When I received the call from Marco, where he told me that we are going afternoon to the work which we're planning to do. They never told me the time, but they arrived at about 18 hours, and they took me by the very symbol. I was sitting at the back seat. Makimba was driving. The vehicle drove to the address for us, and the vehicle parked by the corner as Makimba was driving. While we were driving to the place, Marco received the call, and I heard Marco answering the phone and said, we are on the way, coming. In brackets, Lilini. Paragraph 9. After dropping the call, he told us that Kelly is calling and want to know if we are coming. Then we alighted at the corner and we walked on foot to the house. And the firearm was with Marco. And he asked who was going to enter the house. We discussed that we will make us as if we are committing robbery. And the firearm was one and it was at Marco possession. Marco asked who was going to get in, and I tell them, no, me, I'm going to stand outside and watch if there is somebody who comes in and disturb us. I must quickly report. Marco and Makimba got into the house, and Marco was the only one who was in possession of the firearm. Number 11, they entered and closed the door and demanded cell phones. According to them, they said they found 3 people in the house. That was Meyiwa and 2 girls in the dining room. One of those 2 girls was Kaylee. They said Meyiwa refused with cell phone, and he stood and grabbed each other with Marco. Marco took out the firearm and shot at him. Kelly ran to the bedroom and came back while still pushing each other, and the sound of the firearm came out. As the result, Kelly ran back to the bedroom, and the shots came 2 times again, and they came out running, and we ran into the car, which was parked at the corner of the street. We drove to the hostel, and they said they never took anything, cell phone or money. Early in the morning, I received a call from Marco and said he was going to go and collect the money from Kelly. At about 9 o'clock, I received the money from Marco, who told me that we have rewarded for our job. He gave me 30,000 for my share. We agreed, 3 of us, to go to give Mkulu 5,000 for his assistance in this job. Mkulu helped us to rinse ourselves with other medicine to remove the bad luck. 13, we came back to the room where they dropped me and they left. Nobody came to us or police. The story was quiet. I read that somebody is arrested in this case, and I know that it was the wrong person, and it took short time, and both of them were arrested for the crimes. The firearm that
For other crimes.
paragraph 14, for other crimes. Thank you, my lord. The firearm that was used, sold to Mdntv stole from Umsinga in KZN. That is the firearm that was used to kill Senzo, which was owned by Marco Buthelezi. Makindi Buthelezi were arrested at KZN, and Marco was killed by the police at Davidton during the arrest. They were arrested after 2 months. And then after all the statements have been submitted and written down, my lord, I read back to the accused and make some rectification where it's supposed to. And
Yes,
then he understood.
we'll get to that. Just give the interpreter a chance.
Nasi statement again.
Yeah.
Statement ke sona sithi ngo-2014 phakathi kwenyanga kaSeptember no-October bekukade kuyisabatha umgqibelo umngani wami uMarco Buthelezi noMakhimbi Buthelezi bayebeza endlini bona bacela ucingo badubula umufi ngalelo viki kulonyaka phakathi kweviki bekade kungoLesithathu uma beza ehosteli endaweni yami ePhumulong eBasuthwini section. Ngiye ngathola ucingo kusuka kubangani bami uMakho Buthelezi noMakhimbi Buthelezi bobabini bebakade behlala ePhumulong bebahlala eFosloras Hostel eZulu section. Lo muntu obekade engishayela ucingo kwakade kuMakho kodwa ngiye ngezwa emuva ukuthi uMakhimbi ubekade ekhona. Ngiye ngabatshela ukuthi ngikhona bona bathi bayeza weza noMakhimbi. Ngemva kwemizuzwana baye bafika ngepolo emhlophe ebekade ishayelwa uMakhimbi kodwa umnikazi waleyo polo kwakade kuMakho. Bobabini bona baye bebakade besuka kwaNongoma eNatal. Ngiye ngangena emotweni ngahlala emuva. uMakho wangazisa ukuthi kunomsebenzi okwamele siwenze. Ngababuza ukuthi omuphi umsebenzi obakade bekhuluma ngawo. Bathi baqashwe uKheli ukuthi kubulawe uSenzo. Ngabuza ukuthi omuphi uKheli obakhuluma ngaye nomuphi uSenzo. Kulaye ukuthi abasolwa bona baye bathi uKheli Khumalo noSenzo Meyiwa yilabo ebekade bekhuluma ngabo. Ngabuza ke ukuthi bese seba bashilo ukuthi kwamele bazokhokhelwa malini. Bathi yebo bona bese seba khulume ukuthi bazokhokhelwa imali elingana no 100,000 imali ebekade izonikwa uMakho noMakhimbi ukuthi kubulawe. uMakho yena wayekade kuumuntu obekade enama dreadlocks. uMakhimbi yena wayekade efake ikepisi, is it red? Ikepisi elibomvu ngombala. Mina ngangade ngifake ikepisi elimhlophe. Sasikade sifake lawo makepisi ngomgqibelo. Omunye lo bekade enama dreadlocks yana wayekade efake impahla eyewool eyikuthi umsolwa obekade and this
in order to mix, or he was explaining in order to not mix the days.
ubekade engitshela ukuthi ngingahlanganisi amalanga. Saqhubeka ke sashayela imoto kuyiwa kumkhulu obekade simbiza kanjalo. Yena ubekade esuka eSwaziland. Lo mkhulu ubekade kuyinyanga ebekade sinokuya kuye ukumasiyo ngaphambi kokuthi siyoyenza amacala bekade ephuma eSwaziland. Lenyanga lena yayikade ihlala eKatlehong ePalm Ridge. Sangena ke kuye uMakho yena ke wachazisela inyanga umkhulu njengoba sasikade simbiza ukuthi asihlole ukuthi siyokwazi ukuthi siqhubeke na noma siyenze lo msebenzi wenzeke uma siya kulo msebenzi. Uphinde futhi yena wachazisela umkhulu ukuthi sasikade siyobulala uSenzo Meyiwa ukuthi sasikade siqashwe uKheli Khumalo obekade eyintombi yakhe uSenzo Meyiwa. uMakho waqhubeka futhi wachaza nokuthi uKheli Khumalo wayekade efuna imali kuSenzo kodwa akazange achazisele umkhulu okunye ukusuka lapho. Umkhulu inyanga leyana iye yahlola ke ukuthi sizokwazi ukuthi siqhubeke ngalo msebenzi lona. Yena ke uye washo ukuthi yebo sizokwazi ukuthi siqhubeke ngalo msebenzi futhi uzosinika ikhambi ebelikade lizosivikela ekwenzeni lo msebenzi. Ekade kube kwamele sigcobisele lo khambi ezandleni nasekhalweni. Futhi ke uye washo ukuthi sizokwazi ukuthi siwenze lo msebenzi wokuyobulala. Lo msebenzi uzoyenzeka futhi sizovikeleka. yena ke umkhulu siye samnika imali ebekade ilingana no 50 rand njengoba ebekade sikasihlolile. Ithema eqeda siye sathatha isinqumo sokuthi ngemva kokuthi siqede sizomnika imali elingana no 5000 rand. Siye sahamba ke saphuma lapho endaweni yakhe saphuma ke kuleyo ndawo yakhe la bekahlala khona. Ngahlala ke mina endaweni la bengihlala khona ngomgqibelo kufikela ngomgqibelo isabatha la ngengathola ucingo kumakho eyewangitshela ukuthi bekwamele ke manje sizilungiselele ukuya la kule ndawo ebesikade sikhulume ngawo. Abazange bangitshele isikhathi kodwa bona baye bafika ntambama uma ihora kwelesithupha la ngiye ngathathwa ngaleyo moto ebengikade ngiyichazile. Ngiye ngahlala emuva uMakhimbi bekade kuye obeshayela imoto. Imoto iye yahamba ke yaya eFosloras. Leyo moto leyo ifike iyapaka ekhoneni uMakhimbi wakade kuye oshayelayo. Ithema sashayela khona lapho umakho uye wathola ucingo. Ngamuzwa umakho aphendula ucingo athi sisendleleni. Ngemva kwalapho umakho uye wasitshela ukuthi uKheli uyena lo bekade eshaya ucingo ngimtshele ukuthi sisendleleni siyeza. Ngemva kwalapho sahlika ke emotweni sahamba ngeinyawo ukuya kuleyo ndlu leyo. Isibhamu ebesikade sikhona sasikade siphethwe umakho. Yena uye wabuza ukuthi ubani ozongena endlini.
We discussed that.
Siye sakhuluma ke ukuthi siye sakhuluma ke ukuthi sizoyenza ingathi sibamba inkunzi. Isibhamu sasikade sisodwa sasikade siphethwe umakho. Umakho ke yena wabuza ukuthi ubani ozongena phakathi endlini. Mina ngiye ngasho ukuthi ngizoma ngaphandle ngibheke ukuthi akunamuntu ozayo ozosithikazisa njengoba siyenza lo msebenzi ngokusheshsha. Umakho noMakhimbi bona baye bangena endlini. Umakho uyena obekade ephethe isibhamu. Baye bangena endlini bavala umnyango bafika bafuna ama cellphone. Ukuya ngabo baye bathi bathole abantu abathathu endlini kwakade kuMeyiwa nabantu besifazane ababini bebahleli edining room. Omunye wabo wakade kuKheli. Bona bathi uMeyiwa uMeyiwa walile nge cellphone